Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another weekly analysis. Now on the screen are the 10 pairs we'll be analysing today, but before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also leave a like on the video if you're feeling generous. If you haven't already, make sure you follow me on my Telegram channel. I'll leave a link to that in the description. So we're posting a lot of different trading setups throughout the week and you don't want to be missing out on that. And also follow me on my Instagram. I'll leave the handle there because I'll be posting different setups, tips, tricks, and just advice to help you become a better Forex trader. So make sure you check all of that out. Links will be in the description. But like I said, I've got another weekly analysis, so let me stop talking and let's get into the video. First up, we've got Euro USD. Okay, so for Euro USD on the daily chart, you can see we did create some new highs towards the end of this week. On Friday, you see we just broke through this area of resistance and now we're trading above it. So we're expecting to see a swing to the downside this week for USD from this area of resistance here. You can see we tested it once, moved to the downside, tested it again. So a really strong area of daily resistance, expecting to see price hold. But you can see we did see some bullishness there and price break above it. So all this area is now going to be acting as daily support. Probably can be expecting USD to continue further. You can see if you look to the left, we've got a wick all the way up to the highs up here. So that could be where USD wants to head to. You can see previous highs at the end of August. And if you go into the weekly chart, these were the highs that we made when we had this move to the upside. You can see big push the upside, big impulsive move. Those are the highs that we reached to, and then we started moving this sideways corrective price action here on the weekly chart. So it looks like we're coming back up to those highs up there potentially for EURUSD. Then potentially could be seeing another swing back to the downside, or if the uptrend wants to continue, of course we can break through that and go much higher. That is still a possibility. But again, not really interested in the longs right now. More interested in the shorts for EURUSD. Again, if we see that bullishness continue, come and test this area up here. Again, probably look for the shorts on the 4 hourly or the hourly to capitalize on a nice swing to the downside to go and test this area of support now, which was resistance before. So, or if we do see early next week that Monday's candle or Tuesday's candle closes back below this level, all of this will just be a false breakout, and again we'll still be looking for that short to the downside to see if we can get a nice swing, potentially go and test some previous area of support. As you can see, a really nice support, and if we break through that again, we can go much lower to the lows down there. So again, still open to both directions for USD to continue higher, and obviously the short to the downside. Bias is more to the short side, looking for those sells again. So we'll be looking to see if price was to come up here again, looking to capitalize on the sell to this next support area. But if you do see price close back below here on the daily chart, again all of that will just be a false breakout, and from then we can be expecting to see a longer move to the downside. Next, we're going to take a look at USD JPY. Okay, so for USD JPY on the daily chart, not too much has happened this week. We did see a big push to the upside from this area of support, where I was speaking about last week, saying we want to see a push to the upside. And you see we did get one, but price inevitably just roll back over, and looks like it's coming back to retest that same area of support. Again, same as last week, still interested in the buys only. Again, if you see price come to this area again and we get a nice bullish price action, could be looking to go long there. Or if you see price make another lower low to go and test the lows down here, where we had the vaccine news, again a really nice place to look to buy back into the market for USD. But you can see the price action isn't really the best. We're quite choppy here, so it'll be difficult to really see a reversal come back into this market. We do have this trend line keeping us in a downtrend. You can see initial test there, push the downside, second test there, push downside, third test, push, fourth test, push as well. So we'll probably do a fifth test coming to that trend line soon again. So again, from a daily point of view, that's probably where you want to be targeting the trend line there. Of course, we've got some resistance here. Price could reverse from there, but again, probably due a fifth test of that trend line to come soon. And if you do see a break of that, again, we can expect price to go a lot further and see a proper reversal for USD-JPY. Potentially go and test numerous areas of resistance in the market. You can see resistance there, resistance there, resistance, and resistance all the way up there. Again, that's more of a long-term point of view, but you can see we've got numerous areas in the market where price could go to, and of course got the 200-minute average not too far away as well. So if you do see a reversal on the cards for USD-JPY, a lot of upside potential, and really only interested in the buys from a swing trader point of view. So again, if you do see price come a little bit lower, looking to get into some longs there, or maybe of course the lows down there. So looking for the longs for USD-JPY, expecting a fifth test of that trend line, and if we see a break, we can go a lot further. And next we've got USD CAD. Okay, so for USD CAD on the daily chart, you can see we're going to push the downside this week with this bearish candle here, I believe on Tuesday. we're still at the same weekly area of support. If I go into the weekly chart and I zoom out, you can see area of support all along here. We're still stuck at that same support. You see it is still holding. Of course, we can still see a break of this support, but not really interested in any selling opportunities. Again, really strong area of support on the weekly chart. Don't really want to be selling into that area there. So again, only looking for the longs. We did see another push to the downside this week, so again that's means a better place for us to buy back into the market. So inevitably it can be a good thing. You still got this wick all the way that covers all this area here, so all this area will be all daily support. So potentially could see price maybe come a little bit further to the downside before we see a push to the upside. So that is potentially on the cards. All this wick will be support, so technically you can see price come all the way to the lows of the wick, maybe even force breakout before we see a push to the upside for USD CAD. So you be aware of that, but nonetheless only interested in the longs for USD CAD. We do have a trend line that we're probably expecting another test of soon. You can see we have initially a test there, push the downside, second test, push the downside, third test, push the downside. So again, we're due a fourth test of this trend line soon now. So again, if you start to see some strong price action coming in on the 4 hourly, the daily, you can probably expect a fourth test of this trend line, or see a break of it and price go a lot further, maybe to go and test the 200 average on the daily chart. That is still quite a possibility. So again, only interested in the buys, but price could come down a little bit further and then see the push to the upside from there. So looking for the buys for next week, but be aware that we could be seeing another push to the downside before any longs commence. Up next is Euro GBP. Okay, so for Euro GBP on the daily chart, you can see we had a push to the upside this week. We found support in the market, and you can see why I've been talking about this level for some time now. Really strong area of resistance and support. You can see resistance on the daily chart there, resistance again, support, now acting as support there again. So again, really strong area of support and resistance, really key level in the market, and inevitably we've got another move to the upside from that same area. Again, there's a lot of levels of resistance on Euro GBP. As you can see, a really corrective move to the downside. So again, a lot of areas of support and resistance all kind of bunched up there. So for us to really see a push to the upside for Euro GBP, we need to see a breakout of this channel. You can see if I connect the highs of the channel, initially a test there, second test there, and then we had a third test almost to the pip on the daily chart there for Friday, and you can see we slightly pull back from that same area. So if we see price break above this area, we can potentially be seeing a longer move to the upside. We do have previous resistance along here. Will we turn resistance again? Potentially could be seeing a move to that area, and of course we've got the highs all the way up here. Potentially price can get to up there for Euro GBP. So we do have a lot of upside potential for Euro GBP if we break through that trend line. Like I said, if we break through there, a lot of upside potential. Not really interested in the selling opportunities for Euro GBP. So if price was to maybe move to the downside again, retrace a little bit more to some previous area of support, can be expecting Euro GBP to continue forward. But again, we're currently at a trend line right now, so it could be seeing a move to the downside before we get that push, which could be a good thing as well to get back into the market and see price continue to the upside. So again, only interested in Euro GBP continuing to the upside with that big impulsive move we had on Friday, and potentially testing levels like so. Previous resistance for us here, double top there, we'll be acting on resistance there again, or potentially see price climb to the highs all the way up here. And if you do, again, that could be a great place to short back the market and expect another swing back to the downside. Okay, so up next we've got AUD USD. Okay, so for AUD USD, you can still see we're bullish with this market. We're expecting to see a move to the downside, a swing to the downside on the daily chart for AUD USD. You can see we were getting some moves to the downside, but they were more on the lower charts like the hourly, 4 hourly, not really taking off anywhere. And then you can see ultimately we've got a break on the daily chart above that area. See that big bullish candle, I believe, on Tuesday, closed above this area of resistance, so this and support. You can see Wednesday's candles wicked into the area, confirming support. Then we saw another push to the upside. However, AUD USD is back at the highs now, with the highs previously set in late August again. You can see on the weekly chart, big push to the upside, creating this uptrend. And we're back at this same highs up here. You can see initial test there, push the downside, back up at that same area of resistance again. So again, bias is still the same as last week. Only interested in the shorts. We'll come up to some weekly resistance. Don't want to be buying into that area of the market there. So again, only looking for the shorts for next week. you can already see the price pull back a little bit. This is the area the price wicked into late August, and now we're wicking into it again. So potentially price could stall, maybe climb a little bit higher before we start to see any pushes to the downside. But do remember, this is now area of previous daily support. So if we do see a push to the downside, it can potentially only to be this area, and then price continue back to the upside again. But if you do see some strong price action breaking through that area of support now, again, we can go a lot further. We got support down here, we've got support here, and of course we got resistance here, and of course we've got support all the way down there. So again, a lot of downside potential for AUD/USD. Potential area of weekly resistance. Again, could we get a double top on the weekly chart, which means we can get a really long swing to the downside, and we can take advantage of that on the lower charts like the 4-hourly and the hourly as well. So bias is still to the downside for this pair, but just wait for the opportunity. Price could still move to the upside a little bit further before we get that swing down. Now let's take a look at NZD CAD. Okay, so for NZD CAD on the daily chart, you can still see we're really bullish on this market. Big push to the upside. We're expecting to see a reversal coming to the market soon. We broke through this area of resistance and still expecting a swing back to the downside. As you can see, previous resistance will be acting as resistance there, broke through it. You expect price to come back and retest it, and you can see we've had no pullback in this market. We haven't had a retest of this area of resistance as support, so we're definitely overextended here and expecting price to soon fall and give us a swing to the downside, maybe even break through this area of resistance, go and test this area or this area here in the market. You see resistance will be turned support. So again, a really key area in the market we might see price get attracted to, and of course you've got the 200 moving average running through the daily chart as well. See two prior tests of that, so the market does seem to be quite attracted to that area. So I've got a lot of downside targets for this one, but you can see we're slowly chugging it away, and as long as price remains in this bullish environment, this bullish market, price can still continue high. That's still a possibility, but again, not really interested in the buys here. The real move is to the downside, which will soon be happening, maybe not even next week, maybe the week after, but again, still looking to take advantage of a move to the downside for NZD CAD. Again, first targets will be this area here. Previous resistance will be acting as support now, and potentially could be seeing price come here, test it, and then continue to the upside. So again, first target for NZD CAD will be this area here, acting as support, and if you see price go through there, again, we can see price go a lot lower. We've got some resistance there, and of course got resistance there. So waiting for price action to start getting a bit more bearish for NZD CAD on the lower charts, like the 4-hourly, and look to take advantage of a nice swing to the downside. Again, look at the target, this area in the market here. Next up, we've got GBP NZD. Okay, so with GBP NZD on the daily chart, you can see we did get a breakthrough of this area in the market here on the daily. Really strong area of support, gave us a nice move to the upside after we had this really strong impulsive move to the downside, held, move to the upside. We're expecting it to hold again and see another swing to the upside here. You can see it did hold for a few days, but then that Friday's candle broke through it and broke through that area of support. So it's now going to be flipped to resistance. So bias is still to the upside for next week for GBP NZD, at least expecting another retest of this area of resistance now. So again, looking to capitalize on that on the lower charts like the 4-hourly and the hourly. And if you see price break through that area and close above on the daily time frame, again, we'll just treat that as a false breakout. Now if you see price hold, we can expect price to continue being bullish and a swing to the upside. So again, we do have this trend line running through the market here. See initial test there, second there, could be seeing a third. If you do see a false breakout, then price goes back above and continue to the upside. So expecting a move to the upside, at least to go and test that area of resistance now, and then if we break through that, again, we can go a lot further and test the trend line. So only looking for the buys, but again, price could still fall to the downside a little bit further before we do see that swing back up again. So again, waiting for that price action on the 4-hourly and the hourly to see when we can get into the market, and then look to target that next area of resistance on the daily chart. Next, we're going to move on to CAD JPY. Okay, so for CAD JPY on the daily chart, you can see not too much has happened this week. We did see a push to the upside, found support in that area in the market, found some resistance up there again. So again, not too much has happened, essentially just moving sideways. We do have support all along here, and we've got that trend line keeping us with that resistance up there. So again, only really looking to get involved when we get to either of these places. Again, looking to go long from this area of support, capture another swing back up, kind of just moving sideways. Again, that trend line looking to capture a swing to the downside, just acting as resistance, keeping us moving to the downside slightly, but again, not really breaking through that area of support. But if you do see price breakout, we got targets either side. Again, we've got support, nice We've got support down there, support previously here. Again, we'll be acting as support, and we have resistance all the way up there. Acting resistance, will be acting as resistance again if you do see a breakout of that trend line and see price continue to the upside. So we do have potential targets either side, which way price wants to break out to. Obviously, we're not too sure which way price will break out to. We'll find out which way it does when it happens, but not really trying to second guess where price could go. Just waiting for price to come to some nice areas of value where we can get back into the market, which is this area of support or that trend line up there. But for now, I'm not really interested in CAD JPY, of where we're just moving now. Up next is GBP USD. Okay, so for GBP USD on the daily chart, you can see we came to this area of resistance here in the market, which again is a really strong area of resistance. We saw some bearish price action coming in on the 4-hourly, and now it's starting to come in the daily as well. So we could be seeing a move back to the downside for GBP USD. Again, looking for a swing to go and test this area here. See previous area resistance, support there again. So again, expecting a move to go and test this area at least. We do have this trend line running through the market as well. You can see initial test there, push the upside, second test, big push the upside, third test, push the upside, fourth test, again, push the upside. So again, we could be seeing a fifth test of that trend line potentially, or maybe even just the test of that resistance there. So looking for a swing to either the trend line or the support there, and see price potentially bounce and continue higher, because you can see from a higher time frame point of view, like the weekly and the monthly, we're looking for price to continue create some new highs for GBP USD soon. You can see this resistance has been acting all the way since early 2018. So again, really strong resistance, and it's bound to break soon. You can test it numerous times, and you can see on the monthly we're starting to find a bottom. We've been having this really strong downtrend here, but again on the monthly chart you can see support all along here. We've been failing to create new lows in the market there, so it looks like we're finding a bottom for this downtrend, and could be seeing price continue higher from a monthly point of view, break through the resistance that we have going through the market here, and possibly see price come and test the highs that we previously had previously had all the way up there. So again, from a monthly point of view and the weekly point of view, probably seeing price continue in that direction to the upside again. So not really looking to hold on to our short trades for too long when we get into them. So from a daily point of view, again, just looking for the move to go and test this area. Quite a few pips involved in that move. So again, really looking to target this area of support now, or that trend line going through the market. And last, we've got GBP CAD. Okay, so for GBP CAD, we were looking for a move to the downside, and you can see we've finally got that move for GBP CAD. We're slowly just chugging away to the upside there. Not really a clear market, a lot of support and resistance all bundled up together. So again, not really clear for us to get that move until we got to this area here. You can see previous resistance, big move to the downside, went to test it again. That gave us some nice bearishness, and we've got a nice push to the downside there on the daily chart. So again, for GBP CAD, again, not really the clearest market. You can see we're kind of still in this sideways, well, to the upside, but sideways movement. Again, still a little bit of a channel to the upside, kind of just stuck between there. So if this bearishness continues, maybe get a test of this lower trend line here. You can see I've just connected the wicks down there, so maybe another test of this area in the market, and we see price continue further. But if you do see break out the channel, again, we can see price coming to the lows down there where we previously got a test from when we previously had the move from that area in the market. So that's still a possibility, but again, the price action is quite choppy, similar to Euro GBP, of just chugging away there quite correctly. So when we finally break out this pattern, we'll probably have a bit more direction for GBP CAD, but for now, probably be expecting that momentum to continue. Maybe go and test the trend line down there. Okay, so that's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you leave a like on the video. Leave a comment down below which of the top pairs you're looking at to trade for next week. I'm interested to find out. But like I said, it's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and until the next one, I'll see you later.